It's that time of the year again. The Monster Mash is going on, and your mom bought you one of those puffy costumes that made you look super buff so you could fight off ghosts. The one thing you plan to do was cuddle up in your jammies and your blanket and watch Scary Godmother. But your brother Peyton comes into the room with a burned disc of the brand new scary video game developed by The Rare, or shall I say the remnants of Rareware. Having grown up in a very religious household that was not really fond of witchcraft and the like, I didn't have much of an introduction in all things scary growing up. However, the one thing that always held everything together was rated R movies with my dad and video games made for micro-penis's Xbox. So when my brother threw this spooky-looking disc into my giant black brick, I knew it was going down that night.
For me, this game, like all my other Xbox original titles, seemed to just kinda show up in my house. From day one, this spook shit stuck with me. I knew once I had uttered the phrase, okay, if I can kill a few more chairs soon, I won't have to see the Grim Reaper. I was a fan. Every time the month of Spooktober would roll around and my older cousin came to visit, we'd bust out the blankets, this game, and those really scary witch finger cookies your mom makes just... Ugh, God, I can't even look at them, fuck. So you've popped in the game disc and gotten all strapped into your ninja Halloween costume, whatever one, it doesn't matter, take your pick, and then you're greeted by...
Bro, this opening right here stuck with me for so many years as a kid. The book's opening showing Rare's old games as well as the spooky hands and creatures, followed by the music, just explained the kind of spooky world I was getting into. The monster designs were simple, yet effective enough to where, as a kid, I genuinely found them to be frightening. The structure of the game is that you go from room to room, completing challenges so you can move to the next one. These challenges consist of defeating a certain type of enemy, finding a particular item, or making sure you don't hit an enemy or any objects. Sometimes the game does this thing where it lulls you into a false sense of security, where when you think you finished a room, wham! You have to face another challenge.
Oh, and if you manage to take too long or fuck it up... Oh, you hear that? That's the scariest thing your 6-year-old ears have ever heard. And when you just look at that motherfucker, he shows up dead silent and points at you like your older brother when he found out you deleted his save in Ruby, and he is pissed. If he so much as touches you, you die. Not a game over, no, oopsie poopsie, you lost. No, Cooper fucking dies, and it's all your fault. If you've got stones the size of meteors, you could use this to your advantage. You see, the devs made a bug where if the Reaper touched another ghoulie, it would immediately die. They made the call to leave it in, so now you can 3 ninjas your way into some funny team kill hijinks. So you've played a few minutes, and at this point you're starting to get a little big for your Power Ranger britches. So you walk into the next hallway and start looking around. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's a little scary. Oh!
And this room is different every time you enter it. It's random which decapitated head will jump out at you. And you better be prepared to quick time event fast so you don't shit your pants because Banjo-Kazooie decided to stop making video games. This game is so extremely polished, it never skips a beat with every encounter, and the approaches you make on how to solve a challenge can completely become your own. The game controlled in such a peculiar way that was very appealing to newcomers. The gameplay is kind of like a beat 'em up, but use the right stick to attack. Kind of like you're pointing in the direction you want to strike. You can use any item you find in the house, chairs, pool sticks, food, and the way you swing them. Ooh, the animations when hitting just made everything feel so nice.
As a child, this mansion felt damn near infinite. It had a real unnatural sense of size to it that I don't think was actually a product of the game, so much as it was my doo-doo child brain being unable to recognize patterns. Look, what I'm saying is that as a kid, the mansion felt big as shit, and really scary, and if you're a little kid, you should play it, but you aren't because you're on YouTube. Where was I? Oh right, you know what other spooky time IP I have fond memories of? Disney's Haunted Mansion.
Actually, I wanted to mention the use of sound this game had. The sound design is so goddamn incredible. Grant Kirkhope does the soundtrack for this game, and I have to say that I personally believe that it's his best work. The spooky xylophones and theremins used for the ghouls' themes really make you feel like you're in a Monster Mash.
Except for the ballroom disco, that was kind of weird.
The sound effects for completing a challenge, failing one, a door opening or closing just couldn't sound any better, and just makes you feel things every time you hear them. This game truly feels like it was the last really good Rareware game, and the use of sound really gets this point across. The character portraits, the babble coming from each character when they talk, the slapstick comedy of zombies punching each other and blowing their own arms off, make this game silly, and playing it now as an adult, I can see that, and I couldn't appreciate it as a kid because of how much of a pussy I was.
Speak for yourself, bitch ass. I played the game and my tiny brain actually made it better for me. I couldn't really comprehend the reality of its scope, so my mind made it feel way bigger than it really was. I don't think I'd actually remember it as fondly as I do, if not for the fact that my brain was bad at the time. Thank God that's over. But as a child, no number of cel-shaded kindly butlers could clean up the mess I made in my pants at the sound of the Reaper's Awakening, or the first time I walked through the chicken coop and the game just decides to turn into a goddamn episode of 24 and start timing me like I'm Jack Bauer or some shit.
The storybook-style cutscenes were very entertaining. The way each panel moves as the camera goes over it has been done before, but this is another example of how it should work. And the different style used for them makes you feel like you're reading another chapter of your American Chiller series of books, and gets you all anxiety-ridden as your girlfriend is turned into a horrifying ogre. Anyway, the point we're trying to make is that if you're looking for any game to play during spooky times, or to get you into that spooky mood, you should absolutely make it this one. The atmosphere is just the right amount of silliness and uneasiness that hits the perfect balance for the setting of a haunted mansion.